had the privilege and pleasure of growing up here. And I left for a while and traveled the world and moved to Chicago and then moved back to Barrington. And in that time I had some kids. And man, does having kids change your perspective? In the time that I became a parent, I became very aware of a lot of the things that I did not know about our world and about the way we are with one another and about my privileges and how they impact others. And so I was aghast, to be honest with you, with how little I really understood about that in our society. And so being really frustrated about it and thinking, wait a minute, you mean you're telling me that I'm like maybe doing things that aren't helpful to others? That just blew my mind. And so I had to go back and start to rethink a lot of things in my past and learn a lot of new ways of being in community with one another across difference. And so I asked a lot of questions, I got a lot of things wrong, and I continue to ask a lot of questions, and I continue to get a lot of things wrong. But the exciting part is that I feel like, along with my sisters in collaborative work, Claire Nelson and Zima Jacques, we're trying to figure it out. And we're trying to figure out how to navigate being a person, a human in 21st century Barrington and the nation together, not alone. I think that's the most important part of the work that we do at Courageous Community. So at Courageous Community, we really do bring people together to explore how to foster greater inclusion and belonging in our community across difference. If you don't agree with me, that's okay, but can we come together and actively listen to one another? Can we learn different things about each other? And can we move forward from there? So that's what we've set out to do, and it takes a lot of work. Introspection is one of the things we focus on. So, what are my biases? What are my prejudices? Oh my gosh, I just had this thing come up in my head about that person, but is it true? Questioning myself, questioning ourselves before we move forward is the first thing that we really set out to do. We also really wanted to understand fear. All right, how does fear work in our brains? How does it make us react real fast to something when maybe that's not the response we actually need in that moment? And we also looked a little bit into mindfulness, not necessarily the only type, but the kind where you take a minute and take a breath again before you actually act. And then also active listening, which I can tell you, I am really bad at, but I'm still trying to get it sorted out. And I practice a lot with my husband. So anyways, all of those introspective parts of Courageous Community can be put into practice, and then we go into the actual work of being in community and engaging with others who are different from ourselves in a way that's more mindful than maybe before. And so we are so excited that we are just entering our 4th season of Courageous Conversations, and we partner with the Barrington's White House, and we hold those sessions monthly, and we invite lots of different people and different speakers who are some from local Barrington area, and then others that we don't have access to easily. And we invite them to come and talk with us, and then we talk amongst ourselves. So I invite you to join us for that. The other really awesome part of being in Courageous Community is that I got to meet so many people, so many leaders like yourselves, so many people who are really interested in encouraging Barrington to get louder in the already awesomeness that we are, right? So sometimes the idea of eradicating hate and prejudice, it's like this idealistic thing, and Lord knows I would love it if we could actually do it. But that's probably not realistic. What is realistic, though, is that we get louder about the welcome part, is that we get louder about our inclusion, we get louder about what we already are doing in this community to welcome people, to be inclusive, and to make sure that people feel that. That's what we're trying to do with We Belong to Each Other. And so this was inspired, honestly, by Northern Illinois University, who tried this initiative out in DeKalb, between a partnership between the university and the city of DeKalb. And when I learned about that, I thought, this is perfect. We could put Courageous Community into action and invite everybody in the community who's so inspired to figure out how they want to welcome and be part of this initiative. So we've had amazing, amazing reception so far. So many of you in this room have agreed to be a part of this initiative and are already doing this work within your organizations. And so I thank you so much for being really loud and proud about welcoming in Barrington. District 220, Dr. Hunt, you just leaned right in and you have just put your theme out there for We Belong 220. Thank you so very much for doing that. It's really, really important because, like I said, we still have instances of prejudice and discrimination happening in our community, and that's really unfortunate, so we can be louder. Barrington Area Library, Be Strong Together, Barrington Youth and Family Services, BACC, there are so many organizations, Barrington Chamber of Commerce, who are just leaning in. So I really invite you to come and lean in with us on this. So I have my first grade teacher in here because my mom insisted that she come here. So I just want to leave to Mrs. Conti, who taught the road, and I just also wanted to say it's obvious that I was not going to be a mathematician, right? Those top four races, oh my gosh, I crumbled under the pressure. But you know, I can be a community cheerleader, and so can you, and so I welcome you to join us in the We Belong to Each Other initiative. Thank you so much for this.